Paul. Our new 25 to 26 home kit celebrates the 20th anniversary of our first Premier League season. Firstly, how do you feel like to be back in the town representing this football club?
Yeah, it's nice. It's a rarity in Wigan. The sun's shining. It's a really hot day. It's a glorious day, and it's nice to catch up with a couple of old friends. I was down at the stadium, seeing some people. It's lovely. Yeah, you always get it. Well, not always, but most of the time you get a really friendly, warm welcome off the people. I've always been welcomed here, and I've always found them great people.
A lot of time has passed, but is it so nice to see those familiar faces around the place?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those places. You know, when I came as a player, there's some people who are still supporting us now, and I saw a couple at the stadium, and it's just great to see. And they've been through highs and lows over the last 25 years. So, you know, they certainly have had a run for the money roller coaster ride, if I'm being honest. But no, it's very nice to be back.
We always say it's never boring at Wigan Athletic, and is it hard to believe that 2 decades have now passed since we were promoted to the Premier League?
Yeah, I wasn't aware of it till Brenda rang me, and we had a bit of a get together at the stadium about a month ago. I wasn't aware it was 20 years since we got promoted, and a lot of water's passed under the bridge since then. But you know, those memories, sometimes you forget about them, and you do need your memory to be jogged a little bit. How many good times we really had here. We had a couple of seasons getting in the Premier League, and the first season was just spectacular.
You certainly brought the good times to Wigan Athletic, and starting right at the beginning of your manager career here, how excited were you to be back at Wigan and part of such an exciting project?
Well, do you know what? It was really tough at first. I was delighted to be back, but I felt there was there wasn't a great ambition within the playing side of it. The chairman had obviously pumped a lot of money into it, and players were getting paid for the level they were playing at quite decent money, and I just felt there was a lack of will to win, and there was maybe David sacked a few managers before me, Graham Barrow, John Dean, Bruce Rioch, maybe John Benson, people like that, and there was a feeling amongst the players that if it didn't go well, the manager would get the sack, and it didn't go well for me to start with. We got beat by Canvey Island in the FA Cup at home in the 3rd round, and the chairman came in and spoke to the players and basically said, the boss is staying. If you don't like it, come and see me and I'll pay you up. And since that day, the whole wind changed, because I thought I had a bit of a long-term plan. And as I came out the dressing room, I was only training, and he says to me, make sure we stay up this year. And I was the first year. He said, if you're not in the top 6 by next Christmas, you won't be here. And we weren't in the top 6 by the following Christmas. We were 12 points clear on the top. So that gave the chairman deserves a lot of credit for that. He gave me that ability to think long term rather than just from week to week, and gradually moved players back out and got players in, and I do think the rest is almost history. We just kicked on from there.
I had a lot of faith in you, Dave Whelan. How did you find working with Mr. Whelan? Fine,
absolutely great. He was he expected to work hard. We had many frank discussions. I did once tell him that if I ran JJB, they'd be bust, and if he ran Wigan Athletic team, we'd still be in Northern Premier League. So we laughed about that. But no, he was fine. He was nothing but supportive. He used to have his opinions. I've got no issue with that. But he never ever once tried to influence me to take a player, to buy a player, not to buy a player. He left all that to me.
Dave Whelan, when he first came to the club in 1995, he had a goal to build a new stadium and reach the Premier League, and you were the man to achieve that goal. How proud of you for Mr. Whelan and obviously all the team and everyone connected to this football club for achieving such an incredible milestone?
Do you know what? I think when you're in it, you don't really pat yourself on the back and think about it that way. I think, if Dave had that, I guess if you've been honest, that what he said was probably tongue in cheek. He didn't, because when we got to the Championship, he was actually happy with that. He was delighted with that, because no one ever thought we'd be in the Championship, never mind the Premiership. And when we missed out on the last game of the season at home to West Ham, with Brian Dean scored the equaliser to knock us out the playoffs, that was, instead of kicking us in the teeth, we used that as a fill-up the next year to go again and get promoted automatically, which we did. And I think everyone played the part, supporters, huge part, Dave Whelan, huge part, support staff, massive, admin staff, massive, players, massive. No one it was one of them clubs, and I know it's an old cliche, it really was a friendly club, you know. We didn't have any great facilities at the training ground. We didn't really have a canteen. But no, there was always a buzz about the place. There was always, especially after we signed Bullard, but there was always a buzz about the place, and I used to love coming into work. Well, training. I mean, I call it work, but I probably shouldn't, but it was.
We have to talk about Jewell Bullard now. He was a player, not only a really reliable player, but what a character as well.
Yeah, he was a good player. He was a good player. He was quite ill-disciplined on the pitch, but he was done brilliant for me. You know, I was signing for 250,000 off Peterborough. He came and was just brilliant. Yeah, he trained. He loved football. He trained he was fit as anything. He was a good player. He just loved playing. He really did play. He just didn't have anything. You know, he's one of those guys that can turn his hand to anything. He's obviously a very good TV presenter now. He can play scratch golf. He's a great snooker player. He fishes for his county. So yeah, he's just a bubbly character. And you know, I think one or two lads found it difficult sometimes to play alongside him because he did follow the ball a little bit. But he was a great player for me.
He was a great character as well, and he was a massive prankster as well. Do you have any memories of some of the pranks you were pulling?
No, do you know why? Because I'm only finding them out now. And if I'd have known what I know now, I'd have battered them. Yeah, I mean, since I would like to think that group of players, you know, that we've had a few chats. I know I've played golf with Cav, being away with Lee McCulloch and Cav and played, and they know the person they thought I was. I actually wasn't, but you know, I was a difference as a manager, as a person than I am as a guy. And they're not telling tales out of schools, but one or two things have let slip, and you know. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't know about them, put it that way.
It's like that old saying, out of sight, out of mind, and it's probably glad you didn't know that at the time. And obviously when we got promoted to the Premier League in 2005-06, there was that special day at the British Community Stadium against Reading. What are your memories of that special day?
Well, do you know what the memories are? The week leading up to it, a bit like the year we stayed up, it was just a brilliant week in training. The atmosphere was electric, the training was sharp, it was intense. There was no way Reading were going to stop us going to the Premier League. And the way we started that game was probably as best we've played all season. We actually tore them apart to go 2 up in the first 15 minutes or whatever it was. And the game was never in danger. So it was a great time. And I've got to tell you, as a manager, when you achieve something like that, all I want to do is go home. I know the guys went into town, the lads, you just absolutely drained as a manager and a coach. And I just wanted to enjoy that couple of hours afterwards with my family and the players, and then go home. And that's what we did. And I think we came back the next day for a bit of a open top. I can't really remember, but it was brilliant times, and it was just honestly, to be honest, when you asked me these questions, and not till a month ago, I'd almost forgotten about them, because you tend to dwell on the things that didn't go well. And my 6 years at Wigan after the first year went very well, I guess.
Life can be very fast-paced, so when you actually get the chance to sit down and reflect, it must be really nice to actually think back and see what you actually achieved during your successful manager career. Yeah,
I mean, it's all about Wigan. When we came back about a month ago, when we had a bit of a get-together, it was 6 or 7 of the lads, and it was brilliant because I loved them lads. They didn't know it. They didn't know it at the time, because, you know, and they've asked me this, one or two have asked me, why were you so hard on us? The reason was, I never ever wanted to take my foot off the gas in case they thought I was happy with them, and I was so happy with them, I didn't want them to know that. So I was always trying to drive them on, getting that extra 1%, 2% out of each player. And now that we've all got older, we've got fatter, and some of us have lost our hair, I can tell them what I really feel of them. But I just had so much time for a bunch of players at that particular time that I would do anything for them.
Before the start of our first Premier League season, we were written off and already relegated in the eyes of some before a ball was even kicked. Did that add a bit of motivation? Not for me. It might have done for the players. I understand why we were written off, because no one ever thought we'd be in the Championship, never mind in the Premier League. So, yeah, and I think we'd be surprised if you people with not just our hard work and our determination and our team spirit, but the quality that we had within the group, because that group of players that we had been together, 6 or 7, 8 of them, for 3, well, certainly since I've been there. You know, I'm thinking about Gary Teal, Jimmy, Lee McCulloch, Steve McMillan, Jacko, Jason Jarrett came through, Duke. Do you know what I mean? So they were used to winning. And even though Duke wasn't with us, the Premier League didn't faze anyone.
And we took to it, you know, the first game of the season, obviously against Chelsea, which everyone knows we should have at least got something out of. But it was just, we didn't need any motivation because we got that self-motivation within the group. And that took us. We didn't care what people said, good, bad or indifferent, certainly from my perspective. And it was never mentioned in the dressing room because the people who were writing us off disrespectfully, really, I have no time for people like that who do that because they're actually not educated. If it was people that are who are educated football people who were saying things about us, I might be a bit concerned. But the people who were, they're saying it for sound bites.
You can never write off Wigan Athletic team, and we ended up having a remarkable season, finishing 10th and reaching the Carling Cup final. How amazing was that year, just to look back on with all the jubilation, to have the club's highest ever finish in the league?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's great, but I've never watched a minute back of the cup final ever. First, I picked the wrong team, then Polly got injured in the first minute, and we just never really laid a glove on Man United. And I can't bring myself to watch any of that. Everyone says it was a good day. I hated it because it's all about going there and putting a show on for yourself, for your supporters, for your family, and we just couldn't get near Man United. I think the thing with Polly is the injury that just disrupted us a little bit. And I think I picked it wrong. I'm not going to tell you what. If you ask me what should I have done, I'm not going to tell you. I know it's only me that knows that. I think I picked the wrong team. I set the wrong formation. But we just never got close to Man United on the day, and that was a disappointing part of that season, if you like. But in the cold lights there, I can sit in my armchair and think about that night at Arsenal when we beat them in extra time. Well, we got the result that took us to Cardiff. So forget about the cup final. The semi-final was a hard cup final.
It was a season full of highs, and in terms of that year, and obviously that team, what made that team so special? What were those ingredients that made them so undeniable?
I think it was said, everyone goes on about the team spirit. We had great togetherness. We were a complete unit, again, on and off the pitch. But the thing that I don't want people to look away from is the ability of the players. We had they were all good players. We had some terrific players. Everyone knows how hard we worked. Everyone knows, the passion that we had. But we could play. You look at that team and they couldn't half play. And, a lot of them became international footballers. So that's detriment to those. That's down to those lads who've worked exceptionally hard to get into the Championship, from the Championship to the Premier League, and to become international footballers. That doesn't come unless you do minimum two things. You're a good player and you work hard.
And that was obviously something that was massive during your time at the club, and you've got an immortalised legacy at the football club, and your return on Heritage Day last season only emphasised how loved you are in these parts. How would you describe your relationship with the supporters at our club? I think I'd always want to be respected rather than liked. It'd be nice to be both, but I was never one for any, and that's nothing to do with lack of time for sports, because they are the lifeblood of any club. I was never really one for going around clapping, milking it, blowing kisses and stuff like that. I'd much rather be judged on what I did on the pitch rather than how I was, with the supporters. I got a huge amount of respect for supporters because I was there. I was following Liverpool, but I had to sell lemonade bottles or take them back to the shop to go to the game, to get on a bus to go to games. So I know that the huge sacrifices those supporters make at any club, but certainly at Wigan Athletic. And it's not an area that's affluent, and every penny counts for them. And to spend their hard-earned money, come and watching us. Certainly, while I was there for the majority of the time, I'd like to say, hopefully, we give them value for money, and got a lot of time for them. They definitely got value for money. And finally, Ryan Lowe's heading into his first season as Wigan Athletic head coach. As a fellow Scouser and now a fan of this football club, how much are you hoping that Ryan and the team enjoy a really successful year? Yeah,
that would be great, wouldn't it? It'd be lovely if they could have a season that ended in promotion back into the Championship. Ryan's done a decent job wherever he's gone. Plymouth done a great job. His teams play good football the way that I see it when I've watched Plymouth when he's at Plymouth, and he's got the experience of the Championship. So I think it's a really good appointment, and hopefully he can take it on to the next level, which means the Championship, and then. Who knows? It's tough, but he knows what he's doing, Ryan, and I'm sure with the right recruitment and a little bit of luck, which he'd always need, he'll take Wigan pretty close next year.